One of the last things that comes to mind when you think about INFJs is someone flipping over tables and shouting at other people. They are generally described as sensitive and empathic individuals with a sharp eye for the future, but, like everyone, they can have a dark underbelly. And no, they don't always unleash their rage with door slams, though some do. Even the peace-loving and sensitive INFJ may become furious. If you're an INFJ, you may feel your emotions more intensely than other types. You are also very private about your thoughts and feelings, so dealing with rage when it happens may be challenging, and it can be even more difficult to recognize if you're not an INFJ. That's why today I'm talking about the 7 less obvious ways INFJs show their rage when they are angry. Make sure to watch until the end of today's video. I want to know which of these ways you typically handle your INFJ rage. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Hit that subscribe button to get the latest videos created to give you the tools to level up your life. Starting things off for me today is that an INFJ will get extremely distant. If you've seen an INFJ get angry, chances are they've become withdrawn and quiet as a result of their rage. This can happen for a number of reasons. They may be feeling overwhelmed by the situation and unable to cope with it in any other way, or simply need time to comprehend their own emotions. But whatever the case, this is not something anyone wants from their friends or loved ones. One thing that's apparent about many INFJs who have experienced this is that they tend to avoid human contact altogether when they're angry. Instead of trying to talk things over with others, they just want to be alone until everything blows over or until someone makes them feel better. However, if you have an INFJ friend or partner, don't use this as an excuse to avoid interactions. Instead, use this as a chance to understand where this is coming from so you can work together to make things better. Next up, and number 6 on my list today, is that an INFJ will become excessively polite. Okay, so there are 2 ways for INFJs to become excessively polite. First, they may become so kind and sympathetic to you that you begin to doubt your own reality. They may say wonderful things and offer you their amazing personality, but they are actually very upset in their heads. They are surely coming for you, and they are only waiting for the appropriate moment to metaphorically cut your throat. Then there's the other side. When an INFJ feels angry, they may over-apologize and over-explain what they mean. "I'm sorry if I came out so angry at you," or "I'm not sure why I said that," for example. This can be frustrating because it makes an INFJ feel guilty when it was the other person's fault for being so careless. When INFJs are upset, regardless of the scenario, they are slow to forgive. Starting my top 5 today is that INFJs have selective hearing when they're angry. An enraged INFJ may only hear what they want to hear and ignore the rest. They're really good at using their selective hearing when they're sad or angry about something and simply don't have time for anything else. For example, if an INFJ is experiencing rage and you were trying to talk to them about a problem at work, they probably didn't hear a single word you said. Their mind is occupied with their own anger and simply don't have room to listen or help, especially if you're the one who has angered them. They will only hear what they want to hear and ignore the rest of the information. During an argument, if someone says, "I couldn't call you because my mother was sick," an INFJ will only hear the first part and focus on how you didn't call them, even when you assured them that you would. A simple but powerful tip: don't promise INFJs anything you can't keep, because if you don't keep your word, they'll get upset. And as you can see, you don't want to see their angry side. Next up, and number 4, is that an INFJ's warmth disappears and they go cold. INFJs are warm and empathetic people who love to share their feelings with others, but when they're angry, they become cold and withdrawn. This is because the INFJ has an intense desire to protect themselves from hurt or harm by getting rid of anyone who might hurt them in any way. In other words, INFJs are very sensitive to others' needs, but once someone becomes a threat, even if only imagined, the INFJ will cut off contact with them entirely until the danger has passed. They may slowly modify their behavior towards you. For example, they won't call or text you back so often. If you invite them to parties, they will have an excuse ready. If an INFJ becomes extremely formal around you, just know you have somehow angered them and they have drawn a boundary around you. The boundary isn't going to be erased anytime soon until you make up with them and reassure them that the mistake won't be repeated, ever. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation by hitting that like button. That signals to YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. Kicking off my top 3 today is the famous INFJ door slam. I know you've heard about this. INFJs are the door slammers and will not hesitate to shut the door in your face when they're angry. Most of the time, people are caught off guard by this, and it seems to appear out of nowhere because one moment they may be having a conversation with you and the next moment you're standing out in the cold. They can slam the door with so much power that it echoes in your mind for a long time. It's said that when you profoundly hurt an INFJ, they don't hate you, they just nothing you. INFJs may want to erase any traces of the other person from their existence. Slamming the door on someone who was once close to you may feel severe to an outsider. Again, a lot of times it looks like it has appeared out of nowhere. However, for the majority of INFJs, this is rarely the case. For a long time, things had been building up to the door slam. Typically, one fight or event drives the INFJ over the line, prompting them to ultimately close the door. If you've had the door slammed in your face, it's because the INFJ had no other way to stop the emotional suffering you were inflicting on them. You may not have intended to create the pain, yet it is certainly there for them. In the runner-up spot, an INFJ becomes even more sarcastic than usual. We all love sarcastic people, don't we? But when sarcasm is directed in an unfriendly manner, it raises eyebrows. INFJs are known for their wit and sense of humor, which often takes a form of sarcasm. They will use their sarcasm as a way of expressing anger in a socially acceptable way. When INFJs get angry, they often become even more sarcastic than usual. This can be a defense mechanism or simply an expression of their feelings through their words. They become more blunt and direct than usual, and it can be hard to tell if they are serious or not, confusing those they are angry at. INFJs are known for their honesty and bluntness, especially when they are upset with someone or something. Their approach to expressing their anger won't be to scream or to shout at you, but to joke about something that is likely to kill you from the inside, so beware. Are you an INFJ? In what ways have you shown your anger when you are upset? Leave a comment and tell me your stories and experiences. Topping my list, and the number 1 way an INFJ shows their rage is that their idealism turns into cynicism. If you find that your INFJ friend is getting angry, it's important to listen. Really listen. They may feel disillusioned with life and even with themselves, as well as with other people in their world. They may also be feeling angry at the universe itself, which makes their incredible idealism turn into cynicism, which is not always a bad thing, but can be alarming for the INFJ. INFJs are usually positive individuals and see the good in people. However, when someone breaks their trust and they're angry, an INFJ's judgment can be extremely clouded, and they start seeing people as selfish and only motivated to serve themselves. They start seeing anyone and everyone as unworthy of their trust, and they will only prefer to stay in their own company. The most important thing you can do is to try to understand what's going on for them so that you can help them find peace again. INFJs are people, just like everyone else, and as we can all relate to, we get angry from time to time. Remember that it's okay to express your anger, even if you feel like it's not a good idea. If something makes you angry, then you should say so. Sometimes people need to hear things they don't want to for their own good. A lot of an INFJ's anger stems from their incredible introverted intuition, the ability to see things others can't and connect the dots that are invisible to everyone else. There are also other forces at play here that amplify their already powerful introverted intuition, making it a dominant force for INFJs specifically. This video goes in depth about the powers that amplify an INFJ's introverted intuition and what you need to know to unlock it within yourself.